I like putting like this or training like this at home because number one, I kind of don't have an option. And number two is it's awesome to build repetition into your putting stroke, and you can get so many reps in just standing here. And I'm only hitting 5 footers here. And, well, that was a bad putt. And as I make better putts, the more likelihood of it obviously going in, but I'm just focused on hitting consistently the same putt as many, oh, that was a bad one, as many times as possible. So something that has really helped my putting is number one, getting a putter that works for me. And this Wilson putter is awesome. It's a budget putter. I've done a review on this, I think, in the past, but it's a Wilson M1 harmonized putter. I used to be quite over the top with my putting grip with that rear arm. And all I did was I kind of just, if you imagine putting both your hands kind of on your quad muscles or just above your knees, letting them sag, hit your knees. And then you come up and you grab the putter from that position. That's exactly what I've done. And got a little bit of an overlap. And I feel the putter predominantly through my index fingers, my thumbs, and less in the palms. And just having it, again, that same concept of, I used yesterday in my net session was staying connected, and the same applies to your putting. So you can put something underneath just as a training aid or as feel, and then putt with something underneath your armpit. And watch as your putting stroke becomes a lot more connected to your body. And as you're more connected, you'll start to hit straighter putts and control the putter head a lot better. And that's definitely been what's happening with my game. I've always been a below average putter, but in the last 6 months, after changing some equipment, changing my putter grip, my putting's definitely improved a lot. Alright guys, welcome into day 9. Today's focus obviously started off with some putts, and what I'm moving into now is a little bit of chipping technique, and you can practice your chipping on the Spawnia, which is the added bonus. So I'm going to work on a few chipping technique parts right now, because I do want to, although I am working on swing speed, direction of my irons and a few other things, I still want to hone in or really sharpen up my short game, and my chipping is definitely a strength of my game. So I want to stay on top of that and stay focused with my practice, being disciplined with what I'm doing. So let's jump on the Spawnia and getting some chipping practice in, and then some longer training practice with the 7-iron. All right, just got a sand wedge out. I'm working on a couple of really simple chipping techniques here that just work really well for me. They've always kept my chipping game quite sharp. I'm not the world's best short game player, but it's definitely a strength of my personal game. It works really well for me. And a couple of the techniques that I use, I watch a lot of Cam Smith's short game because I admire a lot of what he does. And I also love Jordan Spieth's short game. So they're two of my kind of short game idols, if you like. A lot of what I watch with those two guys have kind of varying styles. They're not the same at all. They're very different. Jordan's a lot more, he's got more flair, I guess, with what he does. He's a little bit more, uses a lot more spin around the greens, a lot more creative. From what I've seen, compared to Cam Smith, he's just as creative, but he does it very differently. He's, I think he's more traditional for me when I watch him, compared to Jordan, who's just likes to do a couple of different things. He uses uses some shots really effectively around the green. So this one, all I'm focused on with this drill is letting the club do all the work here. What I'm feeling here is the club just getting to where my wrists would hinge, and then I'm just letting momentum get to the ball and then controlling the club face through impact and then just holding it there. Again, it's probably like a shot that you would use to get a little bit of check and then release. So I'm feeling for a certain thing when I hit the ball, which is the ball kind of getting it all across just about every groove on the club head, and you can feel it if you slow it down. This is what I'm really feeling for, to see if like that's a good chip. That sound, that feel. And because I don't have any feedback, I've really just got to imagine. There you go, that's another good chip. I really got to imagine what I'm hitting to and kind of be creative with what I'm trying to achieve here. So a couple of these, and then what I start to do generally is I'll go into a bit of a longer backswing. But again, I'm letting the club do all the work here. I'm not doing anything. I'm letting it fall. And this is what this is how I like to practice my chipping. I'm not thinking about it too much. Literally just letting a pendulum work, so that's the thought. Once I've got, maybe 20, 30 chips out the way, and I'm aiming at the center of that target there. Once I've got about 20 or 30 balls, I generally go for about 30 chips here. I will then start to get a little bit creative with the chips, so I'll put the ball forward, a little bit open stance, open club face, and I'll try to get the ball a little higher on the net. So this is something that maybe I need a higher shot for. And they're not all going to pay off, but weight forward. I could probably achieve the same result without opening the club head. Weight forward and ball forward, just like that. So I like to open the club head up. I have a little bit of confidence in that. But if you don't, you can also just keep the club neutral, ball forward, weight forward, and just let the club do everything else. And then a lot of people think you can't practice your short game if you're not on the greens, and I agree to an extent, but you got to make use of what you got. And if you only have a net to hit into, well, we've got to just make do. Now the other one that I like to practice is put the ball backwards, opening my stance right up. And this is one that I learned watching Jordan Spieth. He likes to trap the ball almost with his wedges and get cut spin, or put these low cutting balls onto the green, which spin for him to the right, for me to the left. I like this shot if I'm attacking a pin and I need it to kind of feed from right to left. Ball back, weight still kind of neutral to forward, more forward for me. Club head a little open. It's probably a little bit thin there, but that one right there. Just letting the club do all the work again. This is almost like a little fade Very creative shot. Love this one. And I'm purposefully leaving, so my weight's kind of forward here, ball's back here. So for that first shot that I tried to hit, for a higher flight, I like to put the ball further up. Open club face or not, you'll get a lot more height with that weight forward in your forwards. And then something that I want to keep low and kind of work right to left for me with that little cut spinning ball back, basically off back big toe, weight forward, club head open, and then I like to leave the club head open through impact as well, so no closing, and that just puts that kind of right to left spin on it for me. Alright, a couple more. I kind of get carried away with short game. I could just sit here all day and hit, 100 balls. And then finally, the last creative shot that I like to play is ball kind of middle stance. And I'm playing, for me, a little, like a small draw or something with draw spin on it. So club head slightly closed. I like to keep my weight still forward, but I kind of close off my stance by pulling my back foot back and closing off my right shoulder or my body to the target. So then all I'm focused now coming from the inside a little, and now I'm focused on turning the club head just a little bit, and that's going to help me. So it's kind of like this here. Turn the club head just a little bit. And you can see here, that's kind of my stance there. So my rear foot, you'll see is behind my front foot. And that just helps me coming from the inside and just get this little left to right spinning ball if you're a left-hander. The opposite way if you're a right-hander. This is super creative if you're around the greens. Very cool way to navigate and attack a pin that might be, you need something that sort of filters one way or the other. You pick a shot. And that way you don't have to go like hunting at a pin that's dangerous. You can pick a spot, land it, and then let some of the spin that you've put on the ball kind of do the rest. I like to call this the creative shot making practice. I'm literally just thinking about letting the club do everything here. I just set up the way I want to be set up, weight in the right place, and then just set the club in motion. And if I want to do a bigger shot, same thing. Just along the backswing, feel the hinge, feel the club, and let the momentum do the whole thing. I do need to get new wedges, man. Well, that was super spinny. I need to get new wedges. I only have a 56 degree and a 48. It's not enough. I need a 60 or something else. I think I'm finding the middle of this club. My 7-iron, got my training 8 on. Again, the whole point about this 30-day challenge is discipline. Doing the same thing as many times as I can, so that I don't get bored of it. I'm trying to fix and ingrain a consistent swing that won't leave me, or I'll know how to get it back on track if it goes off track. So to do that, I've got to do something consistently for long enough. I've heard the saying, it takes 30 days to build a habit. So, hence the 30-day challenge. So I'm getting warmed up here. Now I'm going to add something in today, which is, again, just building on what I did yesterday, and then what I worked on over the week one. That's the one thing for sure, like especially with golf, I think a common thing that people ask me is, how long does it take you to get good? Well, you never really master golf, do you? No matter how long you practice for. That's kind of the beauty and the curse and the blessing of golf, I guess. It keeps us coming back, but also is an extremely hard sport to master. Because once you get to a certain level, then you realize it's not good enough. I need to go to a new level, and you're constantly chasing, and you're constantly looking, constantly searching. So there isn't a recipe for how many lessons, but there is, success leaves clues. I always believe that. So you watch the ones that do it well, watch what they're doing, look at the ones where they have the swing that you like, see what they're doing, learn, get the insights, and then apply it. Like, that's a lot of what my training is built on. That's how I learned how to play golf. That's how I learned how to break 100 and 90 and consistently shoot in the low 80s. But now what I'm trying to do is break 80 consistently. And to do that, number one, I had to get more accountable and focus, but also teach myself to have fun, more fun with it. Make my practice more fun. If I don't enjoy my practice, I'm just coming out here hitting balls, getting frustrated, I'm going to give up. And naturally, I think that's what happens with a lot of people. Alright. I've not started this session off right. I'm not hitting the ball well, so let's focus here. Okay, so this is the challenge. I was hitting the ball really well yesterday, right? Now you turn up to today's session and you're hitting him rubbish. How do you not get discouraged? And how do you dial yourself back in to kind of what I call the zone? And I believe there is a zone in golf for everyone. If you've swung a club, or you've hit the ball really consistently for a long time, and then you remember that feeling, that's what the zone is. So a couple of things for me is the Tommy Fleetwood drill, which is something that I've been doing here. There we go, straight. I can feel the difference there. I remember what the Tommy Fleetwood drill is. It may not be perfect, but definitely find a drill or something that is going to trigger your brain to get you on track with your training session. Very good. And don't get sick of it. To be honest with you, when I go to the driving range, sometimes I'm just happy taking a 7-iron and a wedge, like an aid, one training aid, couple alignment sticks. Alright, I feel pretty warm here. Club head again, for anyone that didn't watch yesterday's video. Club head under the rear armpit. And I'm focused on hitting those little punch shots again with that club head and staying connected in my swing. How many of you guys like film yourself and watch film of how you're hitting it? You know, I think a lot of people, especially golf people, think it's funny to film yourself, but actually you should be. So even if you practice at home, set up a camera, man, and just film yourself, document it, capture it, know what you're doing. Oh, that's a bad shot. Also, a shout out to Gene. Gene's been commenting around a couple of things, and yesterday was talking about Grant Horvat's swing, and you mentioned that you grip the club harder when you're fatigued, and that's so true. You know, as you get out of breath, your brain gets a bit foggy, you grip onto that club so hard, and then you lose sync and causes all sorts of problems. So yeah, soft hands was what Gene mentioned, and I couldn't agree more. All right, now that I'm in a little bit of a rhythm, what I've done is I've put a tee down. You'll be able to see a little tee next to the ball right here. It's yellow. Comes on my mat. If you've got a mat or somewhere you're hitting, try to put something down. You can put a towel. I've done this drill before as well, but now it's about like continuing to build. And this is the third and final part or aid that I use to any of my training. And this is to stop me from coming over the top. If I come over the top or lose connectivity with my swing, I'm going to hit that tee. So again, more feedback, but just allowing my brain and my body to react to what's in front of me. That's how I like to train. A little bit fat there. You can also put 2 foam balls down if you don't have tees or anything. I used to do it with some foam balls, but just gotta stay disciplined. Not get too fast on that transition as well. See that? It's a super fast transition. Also, if you guys watch my videos and you're not subscribed into the channel, make sure you subscribe. 99% of people that watch are not subscribed. So helps me out, helps the channel out, tells me that you enjoy the content. And I've got more. Obviously this is not day 9. If you want to track my journey, definitely subscribe in. It's a little fat. So I haven't hit that tee, which is good, but I'm not going to have the purest strikes. I've got a lot of thinking here. Body's thinking about a lot. These are simple. There's nothing complex about what I'm doing here. It may seem like that at first, but it really is very, very simple. I'm not hitting the ball that well because for whatever reason, but It's okay. Let's see. Stay down and through. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that. And don't forget, golf is hard.